Well, I have finally finished the garden shed, and it has turned out as well, if not better, than I'd hoped. It is fun building with recycled material. I'll show you how I built this thing and share the good, bad, and the ugly. Shredded styrofoam. 85% recycled material went into this, and this is a phenomenal way to build. The more I am building with it, the more I'm seeing opportunities of what you can build. The first project was my workshop, did the walls, but did not do the roof. In this one, I did an arched A-frame, did the entire building out of this. My next project is going to be a little well house, the whole thing. You can build pool houses, garden sheds, workshops, mother-in-law suites in the backyard, B&B on the lake, anything that you want to. And what is really interesting about this is that you can use scrap lumber that everybody else is throwing away, and you can frame the entire house with this. So the first thing that you need to do when you build this is pour your slab. This is a flat 4-inch thick. Now, if I went larger with heavier walls, I would do a monolithic pour and take it down to 8 inches thick around the perimeter so that it can support the weight. It's about $135 a yard right now for concrete. So that's the first step. And if you are going to do any plumbing, that needs to be rough plumbed into the floor to begin with. Once you got that portion, now it is time to build your trusses. Building with an arched A-frame gives you a lot of flexibility. And what is nice about this is the roof and the two walls are all in one. And so when you get done with that, you've got well over half the building done right there. And then you just have the end vertical walls to cap off your build. Now, I built the trusses. You got to build a jig. A typical arched A-frame is to go with the width of your building, and that's your radius for your arch. And so this is 12 foot wide, 20 foot deep. And so 12 feet brought it about 11.5 feet high at the peak. Now, so the benefit is, hey, you build those arches over there and you got most of your roof done. And you don't have any overhangs and soffits and eaves to box in, and you avoid all that cost because the water just runs all the way to the ground. The negative is that your walls curve in from the very ground. And so these three shelves, this is about a 30-inch shelf, this one's 24, and this one's about 14 inches as it's curving in. So you're restricted on your use of some of the area inside the building. Now, one option is to go straight walls 4, 5, 6 feet up and then start to curve. And you can do a tighter curve at that point. Of course, you won't be starting from your radius here. You'll start with your radius right in here or just a little lower to bring it up. And you can keep it still within very similar height to this, maybe about a foot higher. And then you've got flat walls all the way up 5 or 6 feet on the side. And that's enough for furniture, chest of drawers, a vanity, kitchen sink, and things like that. Now, it'll still be curved enough where you can't have cabinets overhead very easily. You know, they'll be sticking out a little bit if you do that. But for the most part, you'll be able to use the area, and that'll still keep your roof line reasonable and not very high. So those are some great ways to think about dealing with an arched A-frame and still get some usage out of this. Now, I built the walls 3.5 inches thick, 2x4 thickness. It's a garden shed, so I wasn't trying to super insulate the thing. But if you are wanting to live in the building that you're building, I would definitely go to a 5.5 inch wall thickness minimum. So stick with your lumber sizes. So 2x4, 2x6, 2x8, 10, 12. And certainly if you're way up north and need a lot of insulation, go with a 2x12 thickness, 11.5 inch thick wall. The styrofoam is very cheap, and you're not adding a whole lot of cost by going with a depth. Now, in my backyard are value testing and comparing it with straight styrofoam. This is coming in at about an R3.5 per inch, which is very good. Is how much I ground the styrofoam down using my electric lawnmower, converted into a giant blender, and watch the videos on how to build that thing, but it works wonderful. And then I'm using these giant 75 cubic foot bags that they typically use for insulation removal when they're sucking out insulation out of the attic. And you can connect that onto the lawnmower and it'll just fill the whole bag up. It's got enough of a fan volume that it'll push it right in there and get it full. Then I made a little stand that hangs this large bag, and I've got a brake that opens and closes gate that makes it very easy to fill a big garbage can for me to measure it out each time and dump that into the mixer. If it's so light, you just dump it into that and just carry it. And then I bucketed it and poured it into the walls. As you're putting it up, you'll put 2x strips over here that you're screwing onto to hold it into position, but it also pulls them flat all the way across, and you want to do it on both sides and one at the top so that all of the trusses will be consistent in size when you put them up. I put them on 2-foot centers, and then I use hardboard, a little 1/8 inch hardboard with the white surface, and that's to the inside. You oil it with a vegetable oil, and you can spray it on or roll it, whatever you want. And then I screwed it onto the inside and outside, and that made my form. And then you're ready to pour. Now the hardboard gave a little bit because when you're packing this in, it's really pushing hard against the hardboard. So a slightly thicker thickness would work better. The other option is just take 2x2s and strip it this direction, screwing it in. That'll give you good bracing and keep it more in size. But you move your hardboard all the way up and pour it in different pieces. So I didn't do the whole thing, so I don't want to buy that much hardboard. But I did enough to do one column at a time, 4x8 section, and actually 4x20 is what I was pouring on either side, and then moved up in multiple pours and then did the ends. Now, I did it out of order. What I found is you want to do these end walls first while it is still open on the top, because this arch makes it very difficult once you've poured the top over here to be able to pour this wall. So frame and pour the end walls first, and then do the roof, and it'll be a whole lot easier for you to deal with that. Once you have it all poured and overnight it's dry enough that you can move the boards, you scrape them and oil them again and screw them up into the next area. And once you're done with that, now you're ready for the fiber mesh. This is a 2.5 inch fiber mesh made for masonry, because Portland cement is so alkali, you can't use just any fiberglass matting. It needs to be alkali resistant. This I'm buying at Home Depot, and if you buy the 6 rolls together, it's a 36 inch by 150 foot roll. That is way cheaper than buying single rolls. They work out to about $42 a roll, and that is real cost effective to wrap it the whole building inside and out, and use a staple gun and staple it as you go, overlapping 2 inches. You can either wrap it vertically or horizontally. I did it horizontally all the way around. And once you've got all that up, you're ready to start stuccoing. Now, the next time I do this, I'm going to go back to my scoop sprayer. It takes a lot of air. You need a high-powered compressor to push enough air, but you can scoop that and get that on the mud on the wall quickly. And then you still have to work it and spread it out, but it will save you time. And the stucco work on the building is the most labor-intensive part of working with this. But it's amazing how strong this makes it once that hardens with that fiber mesh in the walls. Now, I made trim out of styrofoam. And so when you're going around to the furniture stores and other places that have tons of styrofoam. They're glad to get rid of it. Some of it will be 3/4 inch thick in sheets, and you can run it through your table saw and rip it into 4-inch, 6-inch pieces, whatever you want to. That's what I did here, 4-inch and 6-inch piece there. And you can glue it and nail it gently onto here, and then you get fiber mesh that is sticky. So I have a separate roll that I bought from Home Depot, and it's sticky back. And so you cut the thickness just enough to wrap around it, and it just sticks to it beautifully. And then you stucco over it. Now, when I was trying to stucco weird shapes like this, it was really hard with the trowel. And what I found with my rubber gloves, that I just smear it on with my rubber gloves and around the ends, and that was quick and did the job. So I was excited to find that. So that worked out wonderful. So that's the trim. So you're not even having to buy trim. It's all recycled material that you're using here. Now, I had some cedar left over from building the house, and so I was able to make these doors. So that didn't cost me anything except for the hardware. Now, the paint finish that I used over here, and stucco roofs are not typical, but there's plenty of dome houses and things like that that are stucco. But you need a good water-resistant paint finish on the roof. I chose to go with elastomeric roofing paint, but there's all kinds of finishes that you can use. I did the entire roof in one evening, just amazing, and the walls, the whole exterior. I mean, it doesn't take long at all. And then I wake up in the middle of the night and it's storming outside. I think, whoa, I sure hope it dried enough before it started raining. Well, I tucked my head out in the morning, and it had all washed off. This section was still okay, but everything here had all washed out. About $100 worth of paint. Had to order me some more and finish it up again to finish the paint. So I was watching my weather forecast a lot harder the next time I painted with this thing. But I used just regular exterior paint for two-tone colors here. It looks great. I'm happy with it, how it turned out. But it has been a really fun project, and the cost on this thing is really low compared to building this with conventional material. And working with Portland cement mixes and masonry, you will get really dirty. And I don't care with that. It's enjoyable working out and constructing.